In this video, I will show you how to build these Microbit-controlled eyes. If you're attending one of our workshops, you should have received a kit containing all the components you need. First, check you have all the parts. You should have some wooden parts, a wooden head, 2 wooden ears, 2 wooden head supports, 2 dowels, a pair of eyeballs, the plastic eyelids and eye sockets, a couple of eyelashes, 2 microbits, one of which is marked controller, a cricket board, a USB cable, this is a micro USB cable, another USB to barrel jack power cable, a battery box, 2 AAA batteries and 2 elastic bands. First we will assemble the head. This is the head. So the head has a nose and a place for the 2 ears. So these are the 2 ears here. And there's a left ear and a right ear. So if you think about that as the head of the robot, that's its left ear and that's its right ear position. Okay, so what you need to do is insert this one here. It just slots into that slot there and it should go flush with that front of the head. And the motor, this is the motor here, this blue thing, this should stick outwards from the head. Okay, so this is the right ear, it goes on the other side. Again, it needs to go flush and it sticks outwards. And these are the head supports and they just slot on the back there. Okay, so once you've got those in place, the thing should rest on the table nicely. Now you might find these a little bit loose, these head supports, so what you need to do is just grab a couple of these elastic bands, and if underneath you just put those around, one around the front and back supports on each side of the head, like that. Okay, and that just stops it slipping out. Okay, we'll put that aside. What we're going to do next is just take the eyes and eye sockets, the eyelids and the eye sockets. So these are the eyelids, and these are the eye sockets. Now, you need to get these the right way around. Notice with the eye socket, I've painted a black line around the bottom there. This is the back of the eye socket. Okay, so we want that at the back and the other side at the front. Okay, if you look at it side on, that is going to be pointing downwards, that little hole there, and it should look like that. So you've got this sort of 90-degree angle here, but tilted at 45 degrees. Okay, so that's at the back, that goes there, that goes there, so we get them ready. And these are the eyelids. And what you need to do is just clip. You see there's a hole there. There's a little hole there and a hole there. And there's a little bit sticking out on either side of the socket. So those need to go in to those holes. Okay, so just if you push that in carefully, you can see that's going in the hole there. And you just need to bend it slightly just to allow it to hook on. Okay, so that, once you've got it in place, that should swing reasonably freely. Okay, there might be a little bit of grinding, but it shouldn't get stuck. Okay, and as you can see, that black bit is at the back. Okay, you can tell it's at the back. This ridge here is where the eyelashes are going to go. Okay, so that's going to be the front of the eye, and the eye is going to do that. Okay, so we want that black line at the back. Okay, do the same on the other side. So again, we just need to hook those bits that are sticking out into the holes. There's a hole there, you can see that comes in there, and that one in there, clips in place. And again, this one, okay, this might not be quite right. There we go. Right, now that swings properly. Okay, and again, both the black lines at the back. Okay, so once you've got that in place, we can bring the head back in. And what we're going to do here is to attach, what we're going to do here is attach the eyes to the head. So they're going to go like that. Okay, so again the back has got those black lines, and this part that's sticking out the bottom, again you've got two little sticking out bits here, and they need to connect with the two holes here on this grey plastic attachment, and that's attached to the motor. Okay, so you just need to line those up and just get those into the hole. They won't click in, but they should go in quite nicely like that. What you need to do, you need to hold those in place and just line the bottom, that hole there, with the hole on the headboard. Okay, now this is a little tricky because you hold multiple things together. Might be easy to kind of put a finger in there like that, and just line those holes up there. Okay, and then once you've lined those up, what you can do is you can take one of these dowels and just push it from the bottom, and it needs to go all the way through, and it should go in quite firmly. Okay, so that stops this moving around. And once you've got that in place, do the same on the other side. So again, you want that lined up, that hole there lined up with that hole in the wood, and just support it with your hands. Okay, don't just hold it by the plastic, maybe hold the whole thing, and get the dowel, push that through there, and that should lock into place. Okay, so just make sure that side there, those are all joined up there, those the holes and the sticking out bits are all joined up. On that side there's nothing connecting. Okay, so this motor doesn't connect with the eyeballs at all, or the eye sockets at all. Okay, next we're going to take the eyeballs. Okay, so the eyeballs are attached to this grey plastic mechanism, which is going to allow the eyeballs to move. And what you want to do is get that part to this side so that all three parts are facing you, and that motor should just try and get it lined up. Okay, don't spin it around too much. If you rotate the motors by hand too much, you might break them, so just be careful. But that the top of the motor, it should look like that. Yeah, so the motor part there is at the top. Now what we're going to do is get those in the right orientation, and we're going to insert the eyeballs into the eye sockets. Now just gently move the eyelids down, and that gives you a nice bit of space here. Okay, again, don't force them all the way down. You just need enough so that the eyelid clears the back of the eye socket like that. Okay, so next, just push that motor into the slot that's in the head, and then you can get the eyeballs lined up with the sockets, and then you should be able to. Now just be careful, this bit sometimes is too high and it gets stopped by this plastic beam here, so you want to get that underneath the plastic beam. So just drop the motor down so that it goes into that slot behind there, and then it should drop down enough that it can slide underneath it. So once it's all lined up, you can just push those home. Okay, so again, notice how that part there, that beam there, goes underneath this beam here. Okay, so once those are in place, this should move freely up and down. Okay, and it should move left and right. Again, don't push it too much because you'll break the motor, but that should move freely. And then what you want to do, you can see on this side, this motor attachment here has got a slot in it. Okay, so just get that slotted part up so that it's close to this beam, and you need to get this beam slotted into the slot. So just pull it slightly until it's just beyond that part, and then it can slide in. Okay, so you don't need to pull it too much. It's just flexible enough so that you can get it into that slot. Okay, so once you finish that, it should all look a bit like that. Okay, and you can push the see, that's popped out. So if that pops out, just make sure you pop it back in, and then what you can do is just push that down, and we can see the eyeballs there. Okay, so that should all be nice and secure. Next, we will wire up the cricket board. So get the cricket board and just place it at the back of the head. And we've got three wires that we need to connect, and they need to connect to this block of pins here that says servo. Okay, and you can see there's numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. So number 1 is the motor that controls the left-right movement, and it's here in the middle. It's the motor that's in the slot in the middle of the head. So you want to get this wire so that it goes down through the bottom of the slot, so it's not coming out the top. Okay, so it's like that, yeah. And you've got 3 coloured wires. There's brown, red and orange. Sometimes that's more yellow than orange, but it's orange in this case. And you want to attach it to the number 1 pins on the servo block, and you want to attach it so that the orange or yellow wire is on the outside. Okay, so it should look like that. So the orange wire is lined up with signal. And then number 2 is the motor that controls the up and down movement of the eyeballs, and that's the one here on the left side of the head. And again, just attach it to number 2 so that the orange wire is on the outside, so that should look like that. And then number 3 is this motor here on the right side of the head, and that's going to control the eyelids. So again, this needs to attach here, and that goes into number 3. again with the orange wire on the outside. Okay, so you should have 3 orange wires on the outside, 3 brown wires on the inside, and we've got 1, 2 and 3 all used, and 4 is not used. Next you want to attach the microbit. You've got 2 microbits, so leave the controller one. We want to use the other one, and we need to insert it into the slot in the Cricut, and these LEDs, these little grid of LEDs, need to face this way. Okay, so it says Microbit LED grid facing this way, so just slot that into place there. Okay. Now to power the Cricut board, we have this wire here. So it's a USB socket on one end, and this is a power jack, a barrel jack for power on the other end. So the barrel jack goes into the barrel jack on the Cricut, and this USB end goes into a USB power supply. So that could go into your computer, or it might go into a USB charger. Okay. Now when you plug the power into the Cricut board, you should see a little green light here. You should see a little green light here. If you don't see it, just check this switch is on. Okay, so there's a tiny little switch there, which if that switch isn't up, that might be your problem, but just make sure you get the green light. The other cable you have should be one of these micro USB cables. So the micro part needs to go into the microbit like that, and again this USB part, this needs to go in your computer. Okay, so you can't stick it into a power charger or anything like that. It needs to go into your computer because this cable is going to be used to program the microbit. So I'll just plug that into computer. Okay, so that's all ready to start programming. If you want, you've got these 2 eyelashes, and they just clip into the little holes that you'll see on the eyelids. Okay. The controller should come already programmed, and to use it, when you're ready, just put the batteries into the battery box and plug this power cable into that little socket there. You need to get it the right way around, which I think is that way. Okay, and if you get it right, as you tilt the controller, the little light should show you how it's being tilted. Okay. You might want to just unplug the power until you're ready to use it, just to save the battery.